What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Got some major news for you guys here in this video. Several things to cover, including we're seeing a tale of two different stories here because one, we're actually seeing that the US economy went up in growth, but the problem is that a lot of people are saying, well, where is the actual growth? Because most people are not experiencing any growth except for the growth in inflation here. And the problem with this growth is that the Fed does not want to see growth in the economy right now. In fact, the growth in economy the Fed sees as negative and will actually want to see more interest rate hikes because of this. Yeah. And you're actually seeing headlines here like from Shark Tank Kevin O'Leary, and he says, quote, things are going to break. Kevin O'Leary predicts Fed hikes will lead to even more US regional bank failures. If you just watched my video here, we just had another massive bank failure worth tens of billions of dollars here. This is the fourth major US bank failure this year. That one was worth $44 billion. I'll link you to a video here I did on that here in a moment. The other three major banks were worth over $100 billion. Two of them were worth over $200 billion. And then we also had a international bank this year, Credit Suisse, which was worth over $500 billion, half of $1 trillion. All of them have failed just in this year, making the largest failures of banks ever, worse than the 2008-2009 financial crisis. And the problem is that when the Fed sees growth like this, aka inflation, they want to raise interest rates even more, which they just did. And now this new report comes out that the economy is growing, aka inflation, and now they say, we may have to hit the interest rate button again and raise interest rates even more, hurting average everyday American families, businesses, and making the kaboom button go even worse. Here's what famed investor and Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary has to say and how detrimental this could be. Take a listen.
Cost of capital for all sectors of the economy everywhere has gone up 40%. If you were private equity a decade ago, you could borrow money at 3.5%, 4.5% for 7 years. You can't even get near that anymore. It's 9 to 11% for 5 years and more if you're a B-grade company. And all of this has happened so quickly that you haven't felt the follow-on effects yet. So I'm telling people, be very, very cautious. At this point, while the market is looking at a soft landing, and it certainly looks like that is the case, because so much money was pumped into the economy with the COVID programs, all of a sudden we've got really high interest rates for the average American, whether it's a car loan, small business, mortgages. All of this has gone up 30, 40, 50% in a matter of months. And so to be that optimistic about the future is a very challenging thing. And I'm just saying, wait 90 days, wait 180 days. And by the way, the Fed's not finished because the core inflation is nowhere near 2%. So for all the optimism of Powell stopping, have you not noticed? He just keeps ramming it up 25 basis points every time. And that means September, coming to a theater near you, is going to get this terminal rate close to 6% and maybe higher. If terminal rate 6%, what you borrow at is 8, 9, 10, 11 if you're AAA. And if you're a small business, let's talk about double digits, 14, 15, 16%. You haven't seen that in 30 years.
Why do you think the Fed's not taking this into account so much? Because I can understand, the need to put a little bit of a lid on inflation. There's the prospect that we could see a resurgence if the Saudis get their way and if, there's no more SPR left to drain for the most part. But everything you're saying is absolutely correct, especially small business. We're already seeing the tightening of credit for, just regular consumers. When you look at the latest data, we're probably going to get even more data coming through from the sluice on the 31st. So why do you think the Fed's just getting led around by the markets, getting led around by the bond markets as well, and not necessarily focusing on whether the real pain's going to be?
Again, a great question. Fed's looking at two things. They have full employment in America. Full employment. Anything under 4% unemployment is full employment. That's number one. Number two is core inflation, including energy, which has, by the way, been going up, is still well over 2%, north of 3%. So you've got full employment. Usually in a recession, you start to see employment rise. They haven't seen that yet, so they're not going to stop.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're not going to stop. They're going to continue raising interest rates and just pound the US economy, the average everyday American, the small and medium businesses, even some of the larger businesses that are having capital problems. You can even start to see here the Congressional Budget Office predicts slower economic growth because all this is going to start to kick in and higher unemployment into 2024 as businesses are going to have to start paying more interest and start to lose some of that money. Even the US government is paying $1 trillion a year in interest, and that will just continue to go up and up and up as they raise interest rates and they stay higher for longer. And a lot of bond maturities and stuff have to get refinanced, and those mature, and people or governments have to reissue new bonds at higher rates, and everything just gets worse and worse as more time goes on. In fact, you can see here home equity loan surges hit record high as economy squeezes homeowners. Homeowners that bought a few years ago at lower prices and at lower interest rates can feel trapped. If they've considered buying a new home, they've looked around at today's higher home prices and higher interest rates and know they can never replace historically low interest rates that they have now. Even though home equity loans carry a higher rate, a small loan for home improvements still work in their favor. The blended rate of a HELOC with their first mortgage is still below market rates for a new first mortgage. But mortgage rates are stubbornly high, with the average mortgage rate for a 30-year fix now at creeping up near 8% for a 30-year mortgage. 7.677% on average. That's for the highest tier. The highest tier, guys. If you're lower tier, even worse. Even worse. So, yeah, it's only going to start going up into the 8% range. Yeah. Yeah. Yikes. Yeah, you can see here credit card interest rates at an all-time high, averaging almost 21% on average. I found this interesting. Some 0% offers still available. Read the fine print on those, how long they last for, if there's a balance transfer fee. You have to be aware of that, but you can use those to your advantage. But again, you got to read the fine print on those. But the highest credit card interest rates are 35% or more. So just taking this into account at 20%, with the average credit card balance now between $5,000 and $10,000 per person. If you have, just going with round numbers here, if you have a $10,000 balance and a 20% interest rate, that means you're paying $2,000 per year just in interest every single year. And you still owe them, the credit cards company, the $10,000 balance. Again, these are just round numbers, just as an example. You have to look at your exact credit card statements, but this gives you an idea. Every single year, you're paying $2,000 in interest to the credit card companies. It's almost like loan sharking because the rates are so high nowadays. I mean, back in the day, this probably was the loan shark type of rate. Nowadays, this is the average rate. Yeah, but it's unbelievable. But again, credit card companies are, they're unsecured mortgages. You can default on them, and they do take a lot of losses from people filing bankruptcies and stuff like that. Yeah, if in doubt, try to pay off your credit cards, because 20% interest is sky high. You might think it's average, but it's kind of like going down the street and putting your money out the window and just letting it fly out the window. It's essentially that, because 20% interest is outrageous, outrageous. So don't let anybody fool you on that. It's not like, a car loan or a mortgage is a much better thing, because at least you're building some equity in something that will have some type of asset at some point later in the future. It might be a declining asset in the case of a car, but you're still going to have some type of asset there. If you go to the grocery store and you buy $200 worth of groceries, I understand that everybody needs to buy food and stuff. And if you're destitute and you need food, I mean, by all means, it's better than nothing. But it's much better to pay with cash or to pay with your credit card and then pay the statement off every month, because then you're not paying any interest, if possible. If possible. Because the problem is, if you buy $200 worth of groceries or $100 worth of groceries, whatever, but if you pay $200 worth of groceries and then you put it on your charge card and then you pay the minimum, that $200 of groceries is going to really end up costing you $400 down the road by paying the minimum, because all that interest is going to be every month. And it's like, if you want to save money, don't give interest to the credit card companies. Yeah, it's just, if you go to any financial advisor and if they look at your credit card statements, this will be the first thing they tell you, because yeah, people go to the grocery store and they want to save coupons. They want to give give a coupon to save $1 here and there. Start by saving, by not throwing your money out the window and giving it to the credit card companies, because that $200 of groceries will end up costing you $300 or $400 simply by paying interest to the credit card company. So if in doubt, try to pay off your credit card companies little by little, and you'll save a ton of money there. Yeah, the credit card companies are not your friends. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Let me know what methods you have done to try to alleviate your situations down below in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything happening here in our country on a daily basis, because buckle up, interest rates are going to be high for a long time. So it's you got to prepare now. So yeah, subscribe down below, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for liking and share these videos with anybody that needs to hear this information. Here's the Fed's announcement that is going to affect millions of Americans. Or you won't believe the changes that Walmart is making. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.